who you were in your past life. Skills, talents, obsessions, felt good, smelled good, looked good, tasted good, just completely eroded and tormented. Maybe a god-awful person. Not all lessons are simple or easy. Hi, my sweet friends. Oh my gosh, you are not even ready for this video, but I'm still going to give it to you. Today, we're going to talk about past lives. And I'm going to show you in a really basic step-by-step, I'm going to simplify this for you, how you can see your own past life in your own natal chart. So what I want you to do is get your gorgeous natal chart and come follow with me. I'm going to make this so easy for you, and I'm going to help you with this really advanced step. Learn how you can start at least exploring even a little bit on what your past life was about. If you are a member, I want you to feel the love, because I'm going to go through all 12 signs in the South Node and what it could possibly mean regarding your past life. Also, in this series, what I want to show you is how you can work with a bi-wheel inside your relationships, and you can start to see the story in your past life with your loved one. It's so exciting. I cannot wait to give you this video. So one of the most exciting things about understanding your past life is to also be able to understand your natural tendencies, what you are extraordinarily good at, what you spent your time on in a past lifetime. You're probably naturally gifted in a way on that same subject in this lifetime. I also want to say that you should watch all my videos on the nodes, and they are in the live section on my YouTube channel. Your South Node can also show you your obsessions, right? Like where you are sort of naturally and obsessively focused. I believe, and it's in my personal experience, that around 36 years old, we start to step into the energy of our North Node. And our North Node is where we're headed. It's our North Star. It's our beacon. It's our lighthouse. It's where we're going. It's what we need to learn. And it's sort of who we are evolving into. But I find that it's hard to do your North Node unless you have planets conjuncting your North Node. We're going to go into it in this video, and I am so excited. So let's talk about it. I need you to think about the node in two different ways. The first is I want you to look at what sign your South Node is in, and your South Node looks like this. I also like to think of it kind of like a bucket, because I want you to think about how it holds all of your past life skills, talents, obsessions, and even the challenges and the hard things that happen to you inside this bucket. I also need you to understand that every single sign has a ruling planet. Okay? I'm going to keep this easy for you. So I want you to find your ruling planet. One, just know what it is. And two, know where it is in your gorgeous natal chart. And if you don't have a gorgeous natal chart, please head over to shopsoulnavigation.com and you can purchase your gorgeous natal chart. I make them so beautiful. They're so easy to read. I think most of you by now who are watching me have gotten your gorgeous natal chart. And they're so much better than the free ones that you can find on the internet, because I just give you gobs and gobs of information. Anyways, I want you to go and look at the ruler, the ruling planet of the sign in which your South Node is in. If you are a member, a superstar, super supporter, or a super supporter, the way that I can say thank you to you is I can give you deeper content. For everybody who isn't a member, I hope that you find enough valuable information in my videos. And I really encourage you to join our community and help out the channel, because it's you guys that help it thrive and survive. And I am so grateful. The node, the South Node, and the ruler of the South Node are going to show us the story, a small piece of the story of your past life. There are a lot more things involved, like the house and other aspects to other planets, but I want to keep this really basic and simple for you to start to just get a glimmer or a peek at what your past life was all about. Now, the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to figure out if your south node, the sign of your south node, and its ruler are in a positive aspect to one another, or if they're in a challenging aspect to one another. And after this video is over, I want you, please, to go watch my videos on the aspects, because I talk about the opposition, I talk about the square, I talk about the sextile, the trine, and the quincunx. And you need to understand what that means. What you can do in this video, if you don't understand aspects yet, is, do you know what signs go well with one another? Air and fire, fire and air. So air likes air and fire likes fire and air. Earth likes earth signs and water signs like water signs and earth signs, okay? So water and fire don't go together very well. They struggle. So I would say that that's not a happy aspect. That's not a compatible aspect, okay? So you can at least know that just for this video. So stick with this video, even if you already feel a little bit confused, because you're going to get so much out of this. The sign of your south node, let's say it's in Leo. Let's say your sun sign is in Sagittarius, because we know that the sun is the ruler of Leo. We know that Sagittarius is a fire sign, and we know that Leo is a fire sign. So do fire signs and fire signs like each other? Yes, they do. Okay. If you have a hard aspect, so that is an opposition or a square. So for example, if you have your south node in Cancer, we know that Cancer, as I mentioned before, you might need to back up and rewind so you can know the rulers of each sign. That's really important, and you should memorize those. And let's say you have your moon in Capricorn. Well, Capricorn and Cancer are opposites to one another. So that is a difficult placement, right? So squares and oppositions are tough, hard aspects. Trines and sextiles and some conjunctions are positive aspects. Now, I say some conjunctions because a conjunction is really neutral, because it depends on which planet we're talking about. There are benefic planets and malefic planets. And the benefic planets are the planets that bring good things, right? So they are going to be Venus, Moon, Jupiter, sometimes Neptune, but not always. And the neutral planets are the Sun and Mercury. But a conjunction with Mars, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, and sometimes Neptune can go both ways. Those are very difficult conjunctions. Okay, you got me? Are you following? Please leave me a comment in the notes and let me know if you're following, because I want to make this really easy for you. And I want to tell you, I have so many other videos to support you in the process of understanding how to work with your nodes and how to understand the aspects, how to understand the rulers. Please go search for more videos, and I'll leave a couple in the description for you that I think will be really helpful. The ruler of your south node, the planetary ruler of your south node, and the planets conjunct the south node in your natal chart represent or show you who you were in your past life. And the house placement shows you what you were doing and what you were preoccupied with, what themes were playing out in your past life. So Connie Jo and I also have done a series. We started a series, and we've already done the 6th through the 12th house. So you should also watch which house your south node is in and which house the ruler of your south node is in, and watch those two videos so you can see the subject matter that you were preoccupied with in your past life. If you have hard aspects, challenging aspects, that's the squares and oppositions from your south node and the ruler of your south node, well, this shows you the problem with your past life. Now, I'm going to tell you that every single person had a challenge and had a problem in their past life. They had baggage they had to overcome. They had challenges that were hard. Why? Because we're human. Why? Because we're alive. Show me an animal, show me a person, show me anyone who hasn't had a challenge. And maybe if you feel like you don't have any challenges, maybe your challenge could also be denial or unawareness, not knowing, right? Being not in the know, being not self-reflective. I'm going to tell you, easy aspects to between the ruler and your south node do not mean you had an easy life. We're going to go into it. We're going to get a lot deeper here. But let me just tell you, hard aspects, squares and oppositions from the ruler to your south node. Now we're only talking about the ruler to your south node and your south node right now. We're not bringing in other aspects quite yet, unless we're talking about conjunctions. Conjunctions to the ruler of your south node and conjunctions to your south node. That's all we're doing. We're just doing A, B, and C today. And if you guys want to understand deeper karmic story of your life, come with me to my masterclass on the nodes. That is going to be my next class, and I will be doing that on March 10th. So if you are a superstar, super supporter, you get to come to that for free. And if you are a super supporter, you get a significant discount. It's like $9 for you. If not, you can still get a ticket in my shop, and they are on sale now for March 10th. So come to my nodes masterclass because we're going to go in a lot deeper. The hard aspects, the squares and the oppositions from the south node to your nodal ruler show you what afflicted you, what hurt you, what made you grieve, what tore you apart, what shattered you, what was devastating to you, what did you not necessarily recover from? And not only was it annoying and hurtful and challenging and brutal, is also quite possibly the ending of your past life. So you can see the depth of you as well. It can also be the horror that is unexplained in this lifetime. The things you have a deep fear of, the things that you are, for absolutely no reason, frightened by. It's the horror that can actually still be haunting you if you haven't come to terms with or made resolution with. It is the unresolved pains and aches and damage done to your soul or your soul's story. It is the bruise on your soul. This hard aspect by planet and by house is going to show you one of two things. It is either going to be the person, the kind of person who hurt you, who challenged you, who took you out, who harmed you, or it's going to show you the situation of those circumstances that destroyed you, hurt you, haunted you. So the house is going to show you the circumstances, the environment, the situation. If you have the ruler of your south node in square aspect to the south node, there was an attack on you, a betrayal to you that cut so deep. And it was probably quite horrifying and quite shocking to you. And it probably was not resolved in your last lifetime, and it may have even killed you. There was an aggression there. And it is a karmic lesson to work on in this lifetime. If you have the ruling planet in the opposite sign of your south node, this is an obstacle that blocked you, that would not let you pass, that thwarted your energy or your ambition. This is a big, fat no. So this is a wall that went up, something that massively got in your way, and something that really was impossible to overcome, where there just was no solution and you had to live with the circumstances and probably even the pain. It also could be an energy, a situation, or a person who you could not have access to or you could not have in some way. They were unavailable to you. I want to just go sideways a little bit, and that is if you have planets conjuncting your north node, consider yourself really lucky. I don't happen to have that, and I wish I did. My north node has no help from my chart. But if you've got planets conjunct your north node, they are helpers. So if you have your sun there, just for example, your soul in this lifetime really, really wants to get those karmic lessons right. And so your soul is very helpful to the entire body of work and lifetimes that your soul has gone through. Your north node and the planets that are conjunct it, okay, we're only talking about conjunctions in this video. In my nodes masterclass, we're going to talk about all kinds of aspects and all kinds of interplay between the planets and your north and south node. Those planets lend their strength and their positivity to your north node, and they become vitamins for your soul. And your north node and the planets that interact with your North Node by a conjunction are what you really need in this lifetime, lessons that you will need to learn in this lifetime. The softer, less challenging, the better, the happier aspects, like the trine and the sextile and the conjunctions with the benefic planets, sometimes the sun, sometimes Mercury, those are neutral. It depends. They can go both ways. And also sometimes Neptune. These planets, I still want you to sort of see the South Node as a problem and a challenge. But these people or situation, so let's say it's in a softer aspect, the ruler of your South Node is in a trine or is in a happy conjunction or to your South Node. Let's say your South Node is in Taurus and you have Venus conjunct the South Node, right? That would be an example of that. Or a sextile. Well, I want you to think of this as seduction. I want you to think of this as the great lure, right? You can see this as either a person or a situation that lured you into a scam, that lured you into a false belief system, that lured you into a false love. And you went willingly, naively. You went into the arms of maybe a god-awful person or god-awful situation. And it probably even felt good, smelled good, looked good, tasted good. You thought it was good, right? Think of all the scams today. But you believed for a while that it was a really good thing, but it wasn't. So that's how the trines and the sextiles and some conjunctions work with the South Node ruler and the South Node, I should say. If you don't have any hard aspects to the South Node by the ruler, or let's just say any planet, just to give you a little extra, it is sort of like an evaporation of yourself, like a willingness to, I don't know, float on a raft in the ocean, letting others and letting the environment just take you and do with you whatever they might or whatever they will to do. It also might be sort of like maybe you killed somebody in a past life and you got away with it, but there's an erosion inside your heart. You don't sleep well at night. You have a huge karmic debt and a secret to keep inside of you until you're tormented, just completely eroded and tormented by this crime that you committed, that you got away with. That could be the softer aspect. That could be the trine, the conjunction, or the sextile aspect to the ruler. It's a different kind of pain. What if you were handed at birth $1 billion? How would that serve you? There's a pain with that. I'm telling you, there's a pain. Too much money at too young of an age is a really, really bad thing. I've seen it 1,000 times. It's a different kind of pain, but it is painful. So I want to talk about the South Node as a relationship story. And this is karmic astrology. This is evolutionary astrology, my sweet friends. This is not traditional astrology. You won't find this in Hellenistic astrology. Evolutionary astrologers really hang their hat on and really believe in the nodes as the doorways into our past and future lives. And I believe the nodes are the portals into those different spaces and places in time. So the nodes, the South Node especially, show us our prior relationships, what we were involved in. And the South Node will also show you what gifts, talents, you receive in this lifetime, or what gifts or talents you have been building in all your past lifetimes, and where you're sort of a protege or where you excel with very little effort because you've spent so many past lifetimes using those talents and those skills. So if you are a past life Gemini, I'm pretty sure you're real freaking smart. You're used to using your mind. I also want to say that our South Node is our habit pattern. It is where it's how we habitually behave. So if you are a Cancer, but you're really impulsive, you're really impatient, you're quick to trigger, go and look at your South Node and see, why am I not a stereotypical Cancer? Oh my gosh. I have my South Node in Aries. Okay. So you are very much like your south node. And you should start really building your relationship with your south node and your north node. Oh my gosh. So what I would like for you to do is leave me a comment, and I do try my very best to answer all of my super supporters and my superstar super supporters comments. You can see I can't get to all of them now, but I do try very, very hard. But I want to know if you are younger than 36 years old and if you can relate to just the sign in the house of your south node. Can you relate to it? Are you comfortable with that energy? Do you understand that energy? Does that energy resonate with you, even if your sun sign is radically different than your south node sign? Your north node in this lifetime is kind of your karmic contract, who you signed up to become, who you signed up in this lifetime to grow. It's a part of yourself that you said, I want to grow that part of me. And it's the medicine or the gifts or the characteristics or the qualities that you need to develop. Now, if you don't have any planets, or if you don't have any conjunctions, I should say, planets in conjunction to your north node, it might feel like real foreign territory to you. My north node, I can barely relate to. I mean, I have to really be awake, and I have to really, really work hard to embrace the qualities of my north node. It does not come natural to me. I do not speak in that language. If my sun was conjunct my north node, I might be more fluent in that energy. Not all lessons are simple or easy. If the ruling planet is square to your south node, it is also going to be square to your north node. So if the ruler of your south node is square to the north node and the south node, it means you struggle integrating the qualities of the planets that are square to one another. I should say the signs that are square to one another. You have a harder time integrating and finding a helpfulness from that planet that is square to the nodes. So for example, if you have Mars squaring the south node and the north node, you might find that it is very difficult for you to find the courage to step away from the problems and the challenges that you are preoccupied with and step into your higher self. You might not have the courage. You might feel stuck in your wounds, like you can't use that Mars energy very well to get yourself unstuck from the south node and integrate into the lessons of the north node. If you have Venus squaring the nodes, you might feel that your love relationships are always a burden or always challenging. If it's Saturn, you might not feel disciplined to follow through with anything, or you might suffer from low self-esteem, not allowing yourself to get out of the south node energy baggage and negative thinking and negative karma around those subject matters by house and by sign, and really focus on for a long term or build something or grow something that will support your north node. So those squares really take an awakening to work with that energy. Now, if the ruler of your south node is in a sextile or a trine to your south node, or even your north node, I should just say to the nodes, you have to be really careful about your friendships and who you interact with, because you might see that some of your friendships are like too good to be true. So there can be a duplicity and a naivete, and you could be taken advantage of. Your friendships might be takers rather than givers. It might have an unequal equity inside of your relationships. Your friends might be two-faced, fake or phony or false. And if you have a trine or sextile to that south node, what happened is you became friends with or lovers with somebody who really hurt you, betrayed you, lied to you, was false and phony and fake, like I mentioned, where you believed in the relationship at one time, but in truth, it did not assist you, advance you, or help you. And it became a false security. Now, I want you to know that there is not really good or bad. Astrology is on a continuum. It depends how healthy you are. So I just want you to know that every sign operates on a continuum. It operates in negative, nasty, low energy, all the way to moderate, to semi-healthy, to supremely healthy energy. And you get to choose who you want to be, right? So if you're going to be a Scorpio, you get to choose if you want to be a low vibrational Scorpio or a high vibrational transformative Scorpio. So what I want to tell you is I don't want you to come from ego with this video, like I am good or I am bad. That's too much judgment. And I also don't want you to blame all of your life's problems on, the hard or challenging placements of your South Node. I have a very painful South Node placement in my chart, and I don't like to blame everything on it because you can overcome your South Node. And truthfully, I live in the gifts of my South Node now. But I'm 57 years old, and this is very hard to do before 36 years old. It's very, very hard to do. But I hope with my videos, I am helping you find your best and your highest and your greatest self. So when you are in a healthy relationship, primarily with yourself and then with other people, and you really only allow yourself to be involved with people that support you and love you and are a conduit of good things with you. I'm not saying don't be involved with challenging people, because all people have their challenges. But when you're with somebody who gives you at least 51% goodness, right? Well, then that's a healthy enough relationship for you. But first, you have to be in a healthy relationship with self. And so I really want you to understand the gifts of your South Node. What did you come in sort of having mastered? And for this Wednesday's video, I'm going to talk about each one of the South Nodes by sign, so we can just quickly talk about the gifts that you did come into this lifetime already having mastered. While I don't want you to blame your South Node, I do want you to know that you experienced negative things through that South Node story. However, one thing I have learned is we truly grow ourselves out of our challenges and out of our losses far more than we grow ourselves out of our wins and our victories. Why? I don't know. But I do know that that is really, really true. By the way, I have to take a moment to tell you we have all kinds of new things in the shop over at shopsoulnavigation.com. We have launched our absolutely gorgeous new moon intention necklace by the amazing Dawn Wonder. She has designed it and she has made it. You can see it up close in our shop. I'm wearing it right now and it has moonstone in it. And I want you to use this necklace when you manifest on the new moon every single month. And did my members get your dynamite days? I hope so. I gave that to you in one of my members only videos. And I hope everybody watched my video on how to manifest on the new moon, because you can use your new moon intention necklace made by the illustrious Dawn Wonder for your new moon intentions. And I want to know, what are you guys manifesting and what are you creating? I also want to tell you that this is so exciting. We have new chart bundles, and a few new reports in our shop. And I want you guys to go check them all out. And we are getting ready for Valentine's Day. So we have a lot of new love reports. And it's absolutely thrilling. One of the things that I decided to sell in the chart is a buy wheel. And I highly recommend you do this so you can figure out your node story with your partner and who were they to you in your past life. And we're going to talk about that in my nodes masterclass, but I'm going to do a follow-up video on using the buy wheel so you can figure out, who was this person to me in my past life? We're going to go into that, but I recommend that you get a buy wheel, and you can buy it at shopsoulnavigation.com with your chart and your partner's chart together, so you can start reading the karmic story of your past life and even your next lifetime, found in the North Node. Okay, let's keep going. So I want to show you just a couple examples. And I did this example in Stephen Forrest's class so long ago, about 10 years ago, when I was in his AP apprentice class. And I just found it to be absolutely fascinating. And I really believe in giving our teachers credit. And Stephen was a wonderful teacher for me. And he got me to really study Ellen DeGeneres' chart. And I thought it was an absolutely stellar example. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go look at her South Node. And we have her South Node in Taurus in the second house, okay? So we already know Taurus in the second house was about self-esteem, self-worth, money, and also Venus issues, because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So we know love was a bit of a challenge for her. So this is her south node. We are going to go look at her ruler of Taurus, Venus. Venus is in Aquarius at 9 degrees. This is the ruler. This is the only thing I want you to look at because I'm teaching you a shortcut. I'm teaching you just the ABCs. We're not learning the entire alphabet tonight. Yes, we could talk about a million things in this chart. Oh my God. OMG, OMG, say it with me. Oh my God. There is so much in this chart, but I just want to show you how to make this simple and easy so you can just kind of see what the challenge was and still will be unless you consciously awaken to what you need to learn and you bravely and boldly take it on. Okay, let's take a look at this. So we have Venus conjunct her sun. So we know that love and all Venus things are very important to her, but it is at 9 degrees Aquarius. And I want you to work with orbs of 10. Orbs of 10 mean you can go 10 degrees ahead or behind. So we could go 10 degrees. We could take this all the way to 19, right? And we could also back up 10 degrees. So we could go to 29 degrees Capricorn. That might be a lot for you, but I just really want you to know that you can take orbs of 10. And that's what creates aspects, okay? So it's big windows. You don't just have to look for 9 degrees. This is 9 degrees Venus, but what I really want to show you is this is the ruler of the South Node. We know, because we're studying soul navigation astrology, we know that Aquarius is in square to Taurus and Scorpio. The ruler of her South Node is in square to the South Node and the North Node. It is also, if you want to just go, this is for my advanced students. If you don't get this, it's okay. It's okay. Just come to my Nodes Masterclass in March. We can also see that Venus at 9 degrees Aquarius is opposing Uranus at 9 degrees Leo exact. And what is significant about Uranus? Well, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So the ruler of Aquarius for her soul, her sun, her Venus is the ruler of her South Node, but the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and it's opposing. So now, you guys, this is just extra. That's why I wanted to show this chart. I thought Stephen did a great job using this chart as an example to teach about nodal lessons. Uranus at 9 degrees Leo is opposing Venus at 9 degrees, and both Uranus and Venus are square to the nodal axis. So she is struggling with love. She is struggling deeply with love. And when we have a node, the South Node or the North Node in relationship houses, that's the 4th house, that's family. The 7th house, marriage and business partnerships, unions, contracts. And the 8th house is the house of sexuality and intimacy. We know that we have relationship lessons to learn in a giant way with mega karmic issues. And we know that she's got to head towards that truth, that 8th house scorpionic bond and truth where she can truly be naked in her own skin and intimately with another. And I think she's found it. One of the things that I want to say is that Uranus-Venus aspects create something different and unique about relationships. These are not going to be cookie cutter relationships. And one of the things I learned in Stephen's class when he used this as an example is he had explained that when she came out as being a gay woman on television, it was kind of shell-shocking. I think he said that she came out in 1997, April of 1997. So one of the interesting things is if you can look at transits in your bi-wheel too. So I just wanted to kind of show you Ellen's story. So when one of your prominent planets is being triggered in the chart in square aspect to your nodes or with a malefic conjunction or with something significant, it can really be a heart-opening, a soul-opening opportunity for you to really grow. So when Ellen came out in April of 1997, what was really interesting is Uranus, which is the ruler of her sun, and it's also the ruler of her Venus in Aquarius, was literally sitting smack between her sun and her Venus. And it was just like she couldn't take it anymore, right? Like Uranus just blew the lid off of that. But I also want to show you that Pluto was transiting at around 5 degrees Sagittarius, and it was in a square to her rising sign. So it took a tremendous amount of courage and power to be one of the first people to come out openly on television. And it cost her her show for about 3 years. It cost her her show. It cost her her career, I should say. Mercury was sitting on her south node in Taurus. Mercury was square to the sun and to Venus, the ruler, in Aquarius, and now to transiting Uranus. And also, Mercury was opposing the North Node. She struggled with, it might not have looked like it, but I think this was very, very difficult for her to find the courage and the power to come out and speak, Mercury, her truth. What was so interesting about Ellen at the time, whether you like her or not, her story is fascinating, especially astrologically. But she came out, she starred in this sitcom called Ellen from 94 to 98, and she won an Emmy for it. And during the 4th season in 97, when she came out as a lesbian in an appearance with Oprah on an Oprah Winfrey show. But what happened was her character, Ellen Morgan, also came out on the show, on the television show. And so now we have, for like the first time, an openly gay character on TV. Isn't this hard to believe that we even cared? I mean, I didn't care. I'm not saying I cared. I'm just saying this was shocking at the time, you guys. And it was 1997. My God. But you can see it in her chart. You can see how she's not going to do relationships in a cookie cutter way or be cookie cutter with her love. And you can see that probably in a previous lifetime, she experienced a relationship that stole her self-esteem from her because that Venus is square the South Node. And it robbed her of real intimacy, North Node in Scorpio in the 8th. And she probably had to live a lie in a past life. And in this lifetime, when she had Uranus transiting her sun and Venus and Mercury on the South Node, she was just like, I got to be truthful. And now, you know, she's still married to Portia, who she married in 2008. And I think she has found a deeper love, a deeper bond, and a deeper truth inside that relationship. One thing I want to say that's really, really sad is I wondered what had happened to her because she has that Venus in the 12th. And when you have Venus in the 12th, and that's the ruler of her South Node, I knew and I know that love went wrong for her. And there are secrets. The 12th house is secrets. So when you have Venus in the 12th house, you're keeping a love secret. Well, that's probably her being gay for so long. And then she came out in 1997. I mean, how old was she? She was born in 58, 68, 78, 88. 97, like she was almost 40 years old before she came out on national television. So the ruler of her South Node in the 12th house tells me that she had to keep love affairs and secrets around her love life in her past lifetime, and it hurt her terribly. It did her in. It probably ended her life. It probably made her grief-stricken, and just it was probably god-awful. But the sad thing in this lifetime is she has Chiron there. And so she's got to work with this wound as medicine. And by the way, I think she is, and I think she does. But her stepfather molested her when she was 15 and 16 years old. And what he did, I read, was her mom, I think that's the stepdad's wife, had breast cancer. And so he used an excuse that he had to examine her breasts, check for lumps and all this, whatever. And he used it as an excuse and hid behind that and secretly molested her. And she's found a lot of courage to come forth and talk about her own chart. So for you, what you can do is you can get a bi-wheel for any date you want. And you can get your natal chart in the middle and then put transits any day you want around your natal chart. And you can buy one in the shop if you want. And you can also do this with another person. And you can get a bi-wheel with you and another person on the outside of the wheel to see what your stories are. Remember what the different houses mean. And I have a couple different videos on the houses. So I have short ones and I have long ones. And so you can see that secrets were a very big part of her South Node story of her previous life. She had to keep love secrets. Why love secrets? Well, Venus is love and the 12th house is secrets. And she was probably in some sort of isolation with those secrets, a dungeon, a hospital, an insane asylum, somewhere. Maybe she was kept in some dude's basement. I have no idea. But it was isolation and alienation and aloneness. Maybe it's just, I'll kill your family if you tell, or I will kill you if you tell. I know it's gruesome, I know it's gory, and I know it's extremely painful. And she probably has subconscious PTSD around this because it's a square. It's a square that Venus is in square to her South Node and her North Node. But I also know that there's a double X factor here because the ruler of her Venus, Uranus, is opposing in Leo in the 6th house. So it's opposing her Venus. So I think that she was involved with somebody who she worked with or worked for, who was, remember, you can see the players in the story, who was Leo-like. What is Leo like? Well, this is a weird king or queen. Weird, meaning different, eccentric, probably unfeeling. It's a Uranian king or queen, somebody who's erratic, maybe drunk, maybe, crazy. And I think she probably worked for this king or queen that she had to keep the love secrets from. And the reason why I think it could be a queen that might have in a last lifetime abused her Venus, if you will, is because there's something unusual about this. There's something really quirked out about this. And not that I feel today, if she was a woman in a past life, I actually think she was a man, to tell you the truth. This could have been an Oedipus complex. What I'm saying is that the norms for society back then is what I mean when I say weird. Okay, so the norms have changed today. I just know for the times, it was something weird. It was an anomaly. It was something unspeakable. It was something that we do not speak of. Right? Why do I say it was somebody who she worked with? Well, it's the 6th house. Did you guys watch our video on the 6th house? It was so good. It was so much fun. I love doing those videos with Connie Joe. That was a blast. And by the way, if you guys want a reading, you can get on my schedule, Connie Joe's schedule, or Stacy's schedule. The three of us have got room on our calendars, and you can just go book a reading at soulnavigation.com and get on our calendars, and we will help you figure out your past life and your next lifetime. So what does Ellen need to learn? Well, look, she's got Neptune conjunct the North Node in Scorpio in the 8th. She has to believe in the fairy tale again. She has to believe in fairy tale love. She has to believe that love can be unconditional. Neptune 8th house is it's like unconditional love. That's Neptune at its highest form. And the 8th house can create such deep vulnerability and intimacy and a bond with another person that it can completely transform you. That's what she's here to learn. And I think she is, actually. I think Portia's really good for her. With the ruler of her North Node, that is in Sagittarius in the 10th house. So she needs to go bold in the public. And that's what she did in 1997, right? And then the other ruler for her North Node is Pluto at 1 degree Virgo in the 6th house. I think her work in this lifetime will completely transform her, and it has. And she hasn't had the easiest go of it as of late, but she rode a high for a very, very long time. And when she did come out, it was the last season of her show. And then she didn't have another show for like 3 years, 2 to 3 years. So she went on hiatus. Anyways, I hope you guys have found this interesting. And for Wednesday's video, I am going to go through for all of my members so you can know what the South Node lessons are by sign. And then if you like this series and you want me to do more work and sort of like the next step, if this was ABC, do you want me to do D, E, and F? Now, this might be too complicated and too hard for some people. I don't want you to get discouraged. Just spend more time on my videos and you are going to learn so much about astrology. But I really think that you should go shop in my shop so you can get familiar with the rulers of your chart. I have a chart rulers report. I have a starter package, which you should start with. You'll get your gorgeous natal chart and your deep dive report. And you can also buy your buy wheels, because then you can really see what is going on. I hope you found this video helpful. I absolutely love teaching astrology to you. And I hope I get to see you in my North Node, my South Node, my Nodes Masterclass. It's going to be so much fun. From my house here in Seattle, where it is freezing cold, snowy, icy, and raining all in a day, to wherever you are in the world. I hope you're in some beautiful, warm, happy sunshine. Wherever you're at, I wish you the very best. Mwah. Take good care.